I mean, I guess you could Arabian Nights this shit. Make a potion that you have to take on the daily, and thus make yourself important by not giving away the recipe of the potion. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back with some more Apothecary Diaries. As I said before, I'm in the catch-up plan, which is to say, trying to keep everything releasing on a normal time. So we are doing a couple of these back to back, which means that there hasn't been any time for any comments to come in about anything. But as usual, we do come back with a board and some notes. So let's go ahead and hop into the board, where really I've only made 2 changes, and even one of those is from the previous episode where I connected Lahan to Jinshi, as I seem to have forgotten to last time. And this time I added Shenmei and connected her to Ayla with a green line. I think mostly the element is that Shenmei has already been represented on the board, in that I believe Shenmei is the concubine that Shisui, left with, I guess, or she came to him. I'm confused about that element, and I think I have that in my notes. But I believe she is technically Lulan's mother, as it were, and that element is going to be expounded upon, I feel like, this episode, probably. But any connections I have already put for her on the board when I didn't know who she was in that upper left-hand part of the board should then represent the connections that Shenmei should already have on the board. So, even though she's a recent addition, it is nothing lost for her just being put on the board now. And I think, again, the Ayla thing is the only new thing. Well, that said, as per, let's go ahead and hop into the notes. 4 episodes left. It's hard to believe. According to the Patreon upload dates, I started watching this about January 3rd, or at least that's when I uploaded the first video. We've been watching this for 11 months now. If it weren't for my attempt to change how I record things, these 6 episodes, the last 2 and the next 4, normally would have taken me till January to have recorded, and it would have been a years-long journey. I'll tell you, I'm gonna miss having Maomao in the rotation. She's been an eminently enjoyable character, a real mainstay. Same goes for everyone else in the show, really. Great writing, intricate plots. I know I've stumbled greatly along the way, but I've always raved about how good this show is. Now, if you're not watching any of the other shows, you might not know that, but constantly I'm bringing up to lessons in our duo reactions. I know we aren't done yet, but I can see the end on the horizon, and I'm already getting wistful to thinking back to when we had the show. Hopefully there will be a season 3, and it won't take too long to come, because I'm already feeling the same way I did when I finished Mushoku Tensei. Rudy was also a mainstay of my anime routine for a very long time, and thankfully another season of that is around the corner too, so just know that I'm already dreading how the end will come, but I'm gonna see this through regardless. Not that it was ever in question that I wasn't gonna finish the show, it's just, I don't know, I have a habit of getting real sad after we finish a show. Mushoku Tensei, famously, I even told Griffin that I was crying at the end of Witch from Mercury, because I didn't want it to end, but, you know, things end. So I'm just saying that this is going to go on a long line, or a long list of shows that I'm waiting for make a return that I definitely will watch. Heavenly Delusion, 86, Mushoku Tensei, Maiden Abyss. I'm sure there's a lot more, but for some reason those are just the main ones clinking around on top of my head right now. So, show notes proper now. So did the Fox masks in the opening have any real point other than that there was a Fox festival in the season? I got 2/3 the way through the opening and thought, wait a second, Does who is wearing a fox mask mean anything deeper than what I first suspected? Jinshi is the first one to be wearing a mask, and he has nothing to do with the festival. Hell, Maomao the cat also has one over them. I think it means nothing, at least currently. I mean, obviously we're running out of time for it to mean something, but... So is the indication that Shisui is also colorblind, like most of the village is meant to be indicated? Is most of the village is indicated to be? Is that why she colored her mask green? Or is it just symbolic that a bunch of the village does one or the other? I mean, we got the whole history of the village thing going on. But, is she coding her mask to fit in with what everyone's doing? Or is she doing it because she is one of the rare women who is colorblind? Which, would then mean that she's carrying the bloodline not of the royal mother, but of the Westerners who joined the village. And would that even mean anything anymore? I have a note, and it might be the next one, I don't know, just about the element of we got introduced to that facet before, and now it just seems like this arc, whatever this is, has kind of made it pointless. Shisui has a pretty ornate hairstick of her own when she's asking if Maomao will give her hers. Do you think that it has a meaning of implied ownership for her? That when we learn about the horribleness of Shenmei later, that's going to be some indicator of her subservience to her or something? And that her trying to get it off Maomao will be a way of trying to escape? Like, I have no idea how it would work in practice, but it seemed like she was rather insistent, and I have to think not just for the element of pawning it off to make a getaway with some money. Plus, how she indicates its value to Maomao and cautions her not to let anyone steal it. I mean, I don't know. Just for all I know, she's actually trying to take it to then run off to Jinshi to let him know what's actually happening, because it turns out that she's more of a friend than we actually thought. But that I would also put into the ranking of insane theories that I have no idea yet. I don't know what it is, but something about Shusui just feels, I don't know, new? She's taking bites of things for what feels like the first time, but also says that she knows every time Maomao says something about it. I don't know what to make of it, but it also feels like it's something that we are meant to focus on. Maybe it's an element of her tortured upbringing that gets mentioned later, that she's had to eat bugs and poisonous plants before, and reminds herself of it as a means of pushing herself forwards. It's my best guess for right now. My problem with the Westerners' integration with the village story is that it takes away from the royal mother plotline, as I know it anyways. If that building was meant to test for a certain type of colorblindness only the bloodline of the royal mother would have, then this village full of people descended of that same blindness really skews everything if any of them went to the capital, or the rear palace as it were. I guess we did hear about the thickening or thinning of the bloodline. I imagined you'd have to have a way to thicken it somehow, so people from here, I guess, would be capable of doing that. Like I said, it feels like it muddies the waters of that particular plotline, and I don't know where it's going with it. If I didn't already think that Shisui was going to get harshly punished for Maomao's actions by the end of the episode, I would think that she's going to be killed by her attitude throughout the festival. She's really acting like these experiences are going to be her last for some reason. Being wistful about memories, seeming to try a bunch of bad stuff. I don't know. It's raising some pretty bad flags for me. Clearly, I don't know why or what's up, but certainly I'm keeping an eye out. Shisui is definitely the lesser of a few evils so far. At the moment, her guilt is only in pretending to be someone else. Not to connect any dots or anything, but insects never survive the winter, they only leave their children. The next time on seemed to feature Maomao in a new building of some sort, but with snow outside. Shisui has been eating an awful lot of bugs, like some sort of visual metaphor, and now she looks real sad saying that. Here we got Kuyu also looking thoughtful at the idea of his wish burning up and coming true. Also, not for nothing, Shisui trying to instill in him ideals that will carry him forward if he loses everything. Either Shisui is going to be lost very soon, or they are indicating that the adults are going to be sacrificed, as per the looming question of what happened to Kyo's parents. Actually thinking about that post note-taking. Not answering what happened to Kyo's parents, unless, they were rich and they sacrificed everything for the whole buying grain and metal plot. But maybe they're indicating towards the adults of the village dying because they're the ones going to be supplied with the guns and the food, and they're going to be the army. I mean, seems to me that's as logical as anything else happening. Shisui says it was her mother that beat her and threw hot water on her for doing things too slowly. Pretty sure we've established that her mother will turn out to be Shenmei, as that seems to be the concubine that Taihao served and Shisui ended up with. Sorry, I keep saying Shisui when I mean Shishu. Sorry, if I said Shisui before when I was talking about the concubine he ended up with, I meant Shishu. It occurs to me, and I may not have represented this on the board, but the doctor that was forced out with the baby could have been Shishu, which would mean that Surei could be Tihao's daughter, which I did represent on the board, but also explain why she is with Shishu. I'm not sure why the concubine ended up with Shishu, though, which would go some ways to explaining Shusui's birth, I suppose. Before Shisui left, they covered her eyes with her hair so we couldn't see what her facial inflection might have been, or what she was doing, or what face she was making, essentially. Pointedly, though, they lingered on Maomao's hair. She's wearing Jinshi's hairpin, but also Shisui's hairpin, and I couldn't help but notice that the two bulbs in her hair are of the color of the rear palace's consorts that had given her hairpins as well. I don't know if it means anything, but there seems to be a strong and sudden focus on hair and hairpins at the moment. In my final note here, I wonder if Ayla's presence here, her desire to get close to the Emperor, and the want to see the Moon Fairy during her visit due to her grandfather, is going to be related somehow. Also, just off screen, at the end of the episode where Ayla was present and Shenmei, Surei was clearly there, just like this much of her, looking down on Maomao beside Shenmei. I think also it seems like Surei is in the next time on, because it seems like the next time on starts with a behind the back shot of Shenmei with Surei on one side, and I swear is Lulan. So I guess Shusui gets dressed up as Lulan again. So maybe the idea is that they don't know what's going on with the Jinshi's investigation, and they planned to send Lulan back in. Again, that would follow through on my idea that Shusui is trying to get the Jinshi's pin from Maomao so that she could then indicate to Jinshi what's going on if she was going to take a good guy turn on this. I don't know. That is just speculation on my part. Anyways, that is all of my notes from last episode, so nothing really left to do here but to hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Well, as always, I do have to continue to talk over the opening. And it's a shame. This opening has grown on me. I think I said this is like my third favorite opening. Let's see. We have probably opening 2. Oh no, it's hard to remember now. I'm either going to say opening 1 or opening 2 are the better openings. Probably I'm going to go with opening 2 because I think that's the one that built on me the most over time. Opening 1 is just great because it's the first one. It's the one that you fell in love with the show for, or not for, but with, I would say. So that inherently makes it good, and I think it stands up over time. The visuals don't do much because it's just like an insight into Maomao's mind at the moment and like perspective of where the show is going to go. Does opening 3, is it better than this? I think opening 3 is probably the worst one. It's good, but it's worse only because the aspect is the visuals don't do anything. And I know it's weird to say when I'm looking at this because these visuals don't do anything either, but I think that bit that we just saw here saves it because it's an aspect of showing you everything that Maomao has accumulated socially over time, and that's pretty important. She is pretty pale. I guess really emboldening that Western. Yeah, I said she was right there, and she was. Shiro's son? Is that a person we know? That doesn't ring a bell. I said I thought I saw a Lulon there. This bitch gonna die. I'm sorry, I'm just incensed at how much I hate this woman already. Oh, this is some bold-ass lying. The man before? Yeah. Well, now we know how we're getting there. I assume she was getting locked up for this, but... See, again, that's the element that I keep calling Maomao an unreliable narrator, because she just doesn't know things a bunch of times that we've already been told, or should know. I mean, that would have been a hell of a thing if Li Shu had recognized her. I don't know. Even here, she's been, like, being your friend. But she opened up to you. I don't know how much playing you she's been doing. I mean, not technically. I mean, you are sisters, but you're not, like, biologically sisters.
腹違いの娘がもう一人いたとなれば、あれほど恐ろしい奥方のシェンメイからは存在すら許されないだろう。
シェンメイ様は私が憎くて仕方ないんだ。父師匠はもともと死の一族の傍流に過ぎなかったが、才覚を見込まれて本家シェンメイ様の家に養子に入った。そして師匠という名をもらい。
Okay, so he ended up with her. She didn't end up with
しかし
him.
先帝の代、シェンメイ様は高級に召し上げられた。時を経て歌手という形で戻ってきた時には、父のそばに私の母と私がいた。シェンメイ様は母と私を屋敷から追い出し、使用人としてこき使った。
I'm assuming that's
そして
Taiho?
私の名前に一族を表す文字が入っていることすら嫌がった。
もしかして死水というのは。
ああ、元は私の名前だ。
ローランはその名前を気に入っているよ
Oh,
うですね。
that's
下女として
insulting.
名を使うなら、もっと違う名を選べばよかったのに。
そういう子なんだ。
同じ男の娘
I guess it's not insulting. It's actually honorific, right?
一方は
I'll take your name so it's not forgotten.
帝の花として献上される。そしてもう一方は官女として皇宮に送り込まれ暗躍する。中市でのjinshi様暗殺未遂事件に
Again, that's the element that I keep remembering her for.
倉庫の爆発の混乱に乗じて細具を盗み、発覚したら死人を装って逃走した。そして先日のフェイファを使った襲撃事件も師匠が黒幕だったのだろう。
Yeah.
高級管理者のjinshi様
Maomao's catching up to us.
高級のやり方を変えようとしていた。師匠のやり方に反する。
Unfortunately, Maomao's in the same boat as I am when it comes to jinshi stuff.
死水、いや、ローランが価値があるといったかんざし、ただの勘ではない。いや、宦官ですらなかった。
どうした？
Not unless Maomao's about to get ahead of me on the jinshi stuff.
どうやって調べられましたか？
何をいきなり。触診だ。
虚勢していない男が入るには
3人の間に触診される。ごまかすのは難しい。
I mean, I brought it before. How was Jinshi and Gaosheng getting past the inspection?
高級に出入り自由な男子は帝かその縁者のみ。帝に近しい男子は王帝しかいない。
I mean, well, there you go.
その可能性も考えたが、年
Ha!
齢が違う。けれど、
Sorry.
時折見せる幼い振る舞いが本来のjinshi様の姿だとしたら、そういえば狩りの時に何か大事な話をしようとしていた。
So just the element that I keep talking about the age.
人を狂わせる。なんと恐ろしい。
どうした？
いえ、別に。よし、この件はひとまず置いておこう。現状を把握するのが先だ。
Barred windows.
ああ、これから本格的に降り始める。
Yeah, I guess for now, let's start inventing an immortality potion.
シェンメイは砦と言っていた。堅牢な城壁に囲まれ、背後には崖。なぜシェンメイはこんなところに。
Making an army, I guess?
特使が宿舎から抜け出して何者かと取引していると疑っていた。あの工房で作られていた裁縫の最新の武器、フェイファ。
Yeah, it was Ayla meeting with the...
あなたたちは戦を起こす。
What's his name? I keep getting his name mixed up because everyone else is a she name. S-I-S-H-I, I mean, not a she name.
それは私が決めることではない。ローラン様がああ言った手前、跳躍の真似事はしておいてくれ。
言われなくてもします。
食事は持ってくる。くれぐれもシェンメイ様のご機嫌を損ねないように。
I mean, Maomao loves poisoning herself.
大きく出たな。さて、どうするか。
The element is all she has to do is make a poison that doesn't immediately kill her, that she can convince Shenmei to take.
前にいたクス氏もこうやって幽閉されていたのか。薬を試していて死んだようだけど。 前のクスシが残した宝の山。
I guess the concern here is how long do they expect you to take making a
そろそ
thing?
ろ農閑期に入る頃か。いつだったか。戦は農民が暇な時期に起きると聞いた気がする。
Well, that's all the grain
こ
buying,
こは
right?
北部の四北州だとして、高級から船で10日。それから歩いて温泉郷に向かい、さらに馬車に乗る。その範囲で山がある場所は。
I mean, this is the closest thing we've seen to a map. Oh, the part where Kyu is running down the hallway with a bunch of other kids.
今日の他にも子供がいるのか。里からここに連れてこられるとき、一緒に行くと言った京羽に、水霊は渋い顔をした。本当は里に留めておきたかったのかもしれない。もし、死の一族が謀反を起こしたとなれば、一族老とその罪を負わされるだろう。それは、女、子供でも、赤子でも。
As we learned back with the honey poisoning, what happened to that woman's entire family?
大人たちは教えたのだろうか。
Seems like Lulan knew.
割り切ってしまえばいいのに。母が笑っている。ここは笑うところ。母が父に憤っている。ここは一緒に怒るところ。母が折檻している。ここは傍観するところ。そう理解した。お母様が笑えば笑い、嘆くときは嘆く。私が人形でいれば、お母様は怒らない。これ以上醜くならない。がんじがらめで窮屈だけど、それでもいいと思っていた。けれど。
汚らわしい。お前も、あの女も、生まれるべきではなかったのよ。
Wonder how she got back in, since they both got thrown out. Presumably the mother died.
人形のままでいても、お母様を止めることはできない。ああ、無駄だな。そう気づいた時には、もう何もかも遅かった。
おい、神明様がお呼びだ。クスシを連れてきました。
I fucking hate this whole situation.
じゃあ、この香り。
But I can see exactly where season 3 would come from, because there's no chance in hell we solve this in a couple episodes.
それで不老の薬はまだかしら。
もう少しかかりそうです。
あらそう。
ここだとまるで
Did she poison 2 people? Test her, see if she's actually an apothecary day?
明日は何か成果を出しなさい。
はい。
戻るぞ。
部屋から出られるのは日に一度。報告の時だけだ。
I mean, I guess you could Arabian Nights this shit. Make a potion that you have to take on the daily, and thus make yourself important by not giving away the recipe of the potion. Hey, it's the servant lady. Could add her to the board.
新しいクスシだよ。なあ、神明様の部屋、他に女の人いなかった？
いましたね。
本当か？俺の母様がいるはずなんだけど、元気そうだった？
今日の母
Not dead, just eternally poisoned?
どの方かわからないので、なんとも。
そっか。仕方ないよな。母様は仕事で忙しいらしいんだ。やっぱ里で待ってればよかったかな。
温泉郷に預けられていた。
I mean, not dead. That's a thing.
母親自身が。では、私はこれで。
あ、おい。なんでもない。
Yep. Too much of him to do anything in front of other kids.
そういうことか、ラハン。はい。あくまで数字から導き出される推測ですが、師匠が治める北方の砦が拡張されている。
Sorry, this guy just found everything out in like.
拡張工事についての届けは出されていません。つまり、謀反。
I feel like even Lakan would have taken time to figure this out.
師匠が女帝の長身であったとしても許されることではありません。
どの程度進んでいる？鉄の値が上がり始めた時期から考えると、それなりに準備を整えているかと。早々に対処。
何をやっているのだね。
Lakan? There we go.
父上。軍師殿。
そうそう尊き方のもとへ通うものではない。
Again, I want these two fucking working together to get Maomao back and take these sons of bitches down.
男とも女ともわからないお方なのだから。
何よ。
ボス。
しかし父上。ガーシュ様。
Lakan knows.
軍師殿の言いたいことはわかります。私の不甲斐なさが問題なのでしょう。
その通りだ。
軍師殿の娘可愛さを思えば来るのが遅かったくらいだ。抜け穴のこと、消えた宦官のこと、死水という存在しない下女のこと、すべて後手に回り。
I mean, I assume he's just been planning for the counterattack this whole time.
俺の責任だ。
皇宮の外にも内にも入れるどなたかがいたにもかかわらず、我が娘がさらわれた。そしてそのお方は悠長に書類に囲まれていると来ている。女一人どうなろうと関係ないということでしょうかね。
嫌味なら聞きましょう。しかし敵は私ではなく師匠です。
はあ、そこまで分かっていて何をしているのかと言っているんです。
Dude, you're the strategist. I assume you're the one who can do something.
軍師殿はお見通しなのだ。本来の自分の立場に自信を持つことができず、そこから逃げ出してこの地位にあぐらをかいていると。
半端な姿で半端な仕事をして、それで何事もうまくいくとでも。
I mean, I would love that this is the thing that inspires him to take up the role.
野郎のままで何ができるというんです。
As I said, he knows. We all knew that he knew.
私は
悪かったね。おじき。
I hope that wasn't supposed to be a reveal. We figured that out a long time ago.
お前がそんな風に思っているとは思わなかったよ。私だって好きで宦官になったわけじゃないんだけどね。違うんだ。おじきのことを言ったわけじゃないんだ。私は半端な宦官だし、しかもまともに歩けないし、今だって贅沢にもカゴに乗せてもらってきたよ。今回の件はマオマオをちゃんと見ていなかった。
I mean, to be fair, I did a whole note section about how I didn't like how he responded to Maomao being kidnapped.
おじきのことは責めてないよ。
間に合った。
お前は頭に来るとすぐ攻撃的になる。相手の事情を考えて行動することも大切だよ。分かってるよ、おじき。
I'm so on Lakan's side right now that I don't know how to feel about this.
これっぽっちもなかったんだ。
いや、何の言葉も売っていないが。
喧嘩になる前にちゃんと礼を持って伝えるべきことがあるんじゃないかね。
I mean, the lights lighting up. Something's about to happen. I do appreciate we get the Lumen lock-on interaction too. Sorry, I was holding something in my hand. I didn't want to throw it because that's what I was about to do. Raise the army, take your role. We got a Maomao to fucking save. Because again, this is the level of respect you give the prince. Yeah, see?
国に対する反逆の罪で師匠を討つならば金軍すなわち帝直轄の軍を動かすことになる。そしてそれを指揮するのは大羅漢ではなく、
いつまで仮初めの姿で欺き続けるつもりですか。
It has to end now. If you care about Maomao.
月の君。
Sorry, I was gonna say the name, but I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
いつか来ると思っていた。それが今来たに過ぎない。覚悟を決める時が来たようだ。
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this all could wrap up in like 4 episodes or 3 episodes. I don't see how though. The element that does jinshi, God, Zaikuzan, sorry, not Zaigatsu. I'll remember the actual name later. I'm just gonna keep calling him Jinshi. I mean, he is me after all. I haven't regarded the fact that I have been drawn as him the entire time. Raises the army, marches on the north, assuming that this doesn't get met somewhere in the middle, right? That they don't launch their attack before the Forbidden Army then gets mobilized. Because I assume that Jinshi's gonna have to go back to the brother, the Emperor, and call for this to happen. Have to then the Emperor to agree to it, and then forces get mobilized, and then march with all throughout. The North is going to know this is happening, right? I don't know how you can organize an entire army and not have it be known, not be visible. Well, I mean, obviously they did, but the element is that this is the official army, so official movements are going to be more known than your hidden army raising stuff. Yeah, I mean, so much stuff has to happen in 3 episodes. I don't know who that's gonna be. There's Taihoon. Taihu, right? That was the one that got kicked out and eventually got kicked out here too, apparently. To freeze to death, I assume. Unless they're assuming that she's still alive. Because that is the outfit of Lulan, but not Lulan. Maybe Shenmei has another daughter? I mean, it was implied that it was going to be a dishonor to her if he had another daughter. But there was the finger things from the opening, right? And we haven't seen Shenmei have those on, I don't think. And it seems like she does. So this could just be like that episode with Jinshi, where he's being addressed by his actual princely name. That there's somebody here who's actually, this is another one of the episodes that's named after the character who we're about to meet. And not for nothing. Just like I feel like the same number of episodes into the first season, we're back again to an episode that seems like Maomao is about to be abused again. So, obviously, why I'm so on board with a lock-on Jinshi team-up where the master strategist gets under. I mean, follow me here without your brain going dirty. Lakan gets under Jinshi to then march the armies north. And again, I don't so much care. I mean, I do want Shenmei and all associates to fucking get wiped off of the face of the earth. But we have to rescue Maomao. And we know it's not going to happen in a day. It takes 10 days to get there. So, Maomao's on the clock. Like I said, was it 9? I can't remember the name of the story now. The Arabian Nights story, you know. I'm gonna kill you tomorrow. Well, I've got another story to tell you tomorrow night. That sort of thing. Maomao has to fake create a potion that she can say you have to take every day, and I'm the only one who knows the formula, so you can't kill me, otherwise you'll lose your immortality. I feel like that would be the play to make. I mean, maybe she is smarter than I'm going to give her credit for. Not Maomao, I mean Shenmei. That she would see right through that shit. Maybe that's something that the previous apothecary tried to do. You know, then she got a wrinkle under one eye and was like, oh, you're dead. But, I mean, she only has to buy so much time. Granted, she doesn't know this whole thing is going down with Jinshi Lakan and all that. So, she would know that she has to buy time. But, you know, I think if I'm going to kill you tomorrow, you're going to try and buy time no matter what. And, you know, I know I've, like, put all the evil on Sure, but, you know, seeing how the fuck she grew up, I am not, like, a monster about this. She tried to kill Jinshi, sure, but I think she's the product of her upbringing at this point. I feel like she would have grown up just to be like another Maomao had she not had all of this shit going on. That she wouldn't have been a part of all this. Same for Lulan, right? This is just some awful shit. This is some Vinland Saga shit, right? I feel like when I think back to, sorry, I can't remember anyone's name from Vinland Saga. Essentially, the guy and his father who was in charge, and then how he gets all fucked up after he dies, because then all you can see is the guy judging him after death. That classic story. This is just horrible. But I see the rising tide coming on the horizon, and I'm looking forward to that. And you know what? Not for nothing. I hope we cliffhanger. I hope we fucking cliffhanger, and it doesn't even happen this season. I hope this Game of Thrones itself, where we're left with Maomao still here, and the army marching, just so that it can be that much more triumphant when we start a season 3. Because there's no way we're finishing this here. Like, not unless Maomao dies, there's no way we're finishing this in a couple of episodes. Or a few episodes, if you want to be pedantic. Anyway, yeah, I feel emotionally spurred on, but I don't feel like I have a lot of logical thoughts going through my head right now, because again, it's mostly focused on Sure getting beaten, of Lulan. You know, ironically, I'm just thinking now that Shisui is taking on the identity of Sure when she's pretending to be Shisui, because it's Sure's name, Shisui, and she says, I used to get beaten and water poured on me and everything, hot water poured on me and all that. But we see from her own past, she's not getting beaten. So, when she's saying that from the identity of who Sure really is. She's essentially taken on the identity of Sure as Shusui without having experienced that stuff. I'm hoping, anyway. It seemed very much from her perspective that she's been forced to watch all this stuff happen and has, I don't know, transference. I guess that would be a thing to say. She has some sort of like a transference problem. I'm sorry, I only realized that now because I'm only putting back together the evidence from the previous episode where she says that stuff, and then we see that it's not happening. But then Sure is like, that's just how she is, and it's like, that's disrespectful. And then it's actually now it's a psychological problem, but at the same time, it's like also keeping your memory alive when you're not allowed to be yourself. This is a very difficult situation. Sorry, what I was about to say is I have no, like, logical thoughts about the stuff, but it's like, this episode is fucking emotional on so many degrees. You know, like the fact that Kiyo's parents are just being tortured or poisoned, or they're being forced to do something, and then he's being lied to. But granted, I thought they were already dead, because I think Maomao suggested that maybe his parents were dead, or something had happened to them, and I just thought that meant they were dead. So, is this better? Is it better to know your parents are tortured and alive? Well, I guess maybe that is better. Not for them so much, but the element that you could still rescue them, possibly. Like, I don't know, Q, not so much. But when the army comes rolling in, well, actually, no, they're still going to be dead. And Q is going to be dead. That's the element that Maomao was talking about. The entire clan's going to be punished. Q is part of the clan. He's going to die. His parents who have been tortured are going to die. The army rolling in is not going to rescue them. Everyone is going to die. Including all those other kids that we don't remember. And, you know, all the kids that were at the festival. And probably why Mulan as Shusui was lamenting back then. I guess it's all starting to really make sense. Well, I guess at the end of the day, all of my questions are basically answered at this point. Even my confusion about Jinshi's actual identity. Because, you know, I kept going back and forth on that. And even last episode, I think I said the reality board on my board indicated who he was. And, again, I think that was the right one, without looking at it. Anyway. So, yeah, I guess that's it. So, as per normal, Maomao's notes await us, so let's go ahead and see what Maomao has to say. Assuming it's Maomao this time. Well, go figure. It's not, Maomao, it's Goshen. Twice now. Twice for the first time. Not for the first time. Twice in all the time ever.
国の頂に立つお方。しかし、主上は簡単に都を離れることができず、次に位の高いお方がその代理を務めることもある。
Yeah, of course, that makes sense. As indicated by Jinshi having to do it.
大事の時に限ってどうして書類仕事が多いんだ。
これもお務めです。
こんなことをしている間にマオマオに何かあったら。
ラハンの報告を待つのが得策かと。
あいつちゃんと食事はできているのか。ひどい目に遭っていないといいが。
Yeah, I was saying. Be worried about her getting physically abused more so than her eating right. That right there.
どうか正気を保ってください。シャオマオがどうしているかご心配になるのはわかります。ですが。She
totally is. You guys keep saying this, but she totally is. I mean, it's good to see that you care too, Gaoshan. It's been a long time. It's funny to see it labeled as Master Basan since it's his son. Again, son, not grandson. Right? I think I'm right. Anyway. I don't know. I'm gonna keep calling it Maomao's notes, even though, again, it's twice now it's been Gaoshan's notes. Really seem to imply that they're gonna be making it there pretty quickly. Like, you know, it's anime. Time skips could happen. Who knows? I would be disappointed if this massive arc, this thing that's been taking place over 2 seasons, gets wrapped up in like 3 to 4 episodes. That would be slightly disappointing. Like I said, I'm kind of hoping that there's going to be a cliffhanger, just so that we can keep this going, because this feels ultimately like the payoff of the entire show. Like, I don't know where you go after. I guess you could still have internal Game of Thrones politics shit, right? The element of, because it feels like they're trying to usurp the Emperor, which was, sorry, I'm just thinking back to previous episodes in, say, season 1, or I guess maybe earlier in season 2, where it seemed like the implication was that there was a plot afoot to make Jinshi the emperor. Maybe I'm making that up in my head now, but I feel like that's what Gaoshun was talking about when they were on their trip to the north before, and he was actually talking about the Jinshi's actual name for the first time. And I feel like there was previous things when they were referring back to his, flashing back to when he was a kid. I feel like there was elements there where they're implying that the ultimate journey of Jinshi is to the throne, in which case they would have to go against the Emperor at some point. That might not be it. I might have just made that all up in my head, who knows. But if we were to go somewhere after all of this, you could still have more story from that, because obviously there was a whole thing to bring Maomao into, that he was going to bring her into for, and I could not imagine what it would be if not for that. So they were planning a thing before they realized this whole rebellion was afoot. So yeah, I have to imagine that even if, disappointingly, we solved all of this in the next 3 to 4 episodes, there would be still more to go. I've said before, I've never read the manga. I have no idea what happens. Obviously, even looking at that stuff would be spoilers, so I am hands off, and don't tell me. If I read a comment and the comment contains the word manga, not reading the comment. I'm stopping right there. As I've said many times before, I am super cautious about not being spoiled. I do my best. Maybe sometimes I fail, because sometimes I read ahead in a comment and the comment will say something, or I'm getting like images for the board and somehow getting the images, something comes up, but 99.9% of the time I am unspoiled, and I try to stay that way. Sorry, there's a joke in there somewhere and I do not want to make it. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this episode. I really liked it, and as much as I really hated it. By hated it, I mean it elicited those emotions within me that I fucking hate. But for eliciting those emotions, it is a great episode. Definitely, probably one of the top 10 episodes of the show. But, I'm biased right now because I'm sitting in the aftermath of it. Granted, anything after this is probably going to be better. I hope. We're on an upward slope to greatness. From greatness. Again, as I said before when I talked about ranking characters and whatnot, when you say that one character is better than another, sometimes you're just comparing qualities of gold. Some gold is just better than other gold. It's the truth. I've entered into a ramble for no reason. I don't even have a co-host and I'm doing it. I think that's going to be it for this episode. So once again, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?